Alright, so part 7, The New Blood, the first film since part 3 that has not had a singular same character besides Jason Voorhees in it. Because Tommy Jarvis has been the main character for the past 3 films in 4, 5, and 6. And then part 6 was his last film, and he never returned, which to me was sad, but I guess it's good that we're doing something different, but I guess it's also not because I feel like it could have benefited from with having him in this. Because I mean, his arc was kind of resolved, but he never came back, which stinks because Jason always comes back. And I think that this one, Part 7, The New Blood, I still love it. I still think it's one of the better Friday the 13th films and, and more entertaining. Um, I say after the first 6, this is the one I'd love the most after the first 6. And this one is really entertaining, but it's the film that I think to me starts where it gets repetitive. And I feel like people would immediately say, "What are you talking about? Every movie is the same movie. It's the same damn movie every time." But I think that this one, in terms of characters and in terms of fun, I felt like this one. I still love it. I'm still gonna point that out. I still love this movie. I still love this as almost as much as I did the first 7. I think it's a tad under the first 6 in terms of the characters here started to feel like they were very generic. And I know you can argue the other films, the other characters are generic too, but I felt like this is the one where the side characters who get killed off immediately have the least personality to them. A lot of them. I feel like they just felt very phoned in and very cheesy. I felt like they didn't have the charm that these other actors had in these other movies. And I'm not blaming the actors in this movie. I'm just saying that in terms of what you can do in the 7th film is not like it's hard to find anything else to do different in terms of these cliched characters, which they're cliched in all these movies, but I felt like they had way more personality in the first 6, all these side characters. Even though in this movie I really did like Tina a lot, I thought Tina was a great final girl. Um, like the first 6 final girls, I thought that she was a really great one that, to me, I like how she's got, like she's basically Carrie. She's literally just Carrie. She's got telekinetic abilities, and they just don't call her Carrie, but she's Carrie. And they wanted in part 7 to be a Freddy vs. Jason movie, which we didn't get for a long ass time after this movie because of the rights issues. But this one, we had Tina, and they basically pitched it as a Jason versus Carrie movie instead of a Freddy versus Jason because they couldn't get Freddy Krueger in the rights. So I like that idea, and I like the Tina character. I like how she is basically Carrie, but she doesn't have the tragic end or the tragic story as Carrie. I mean, Tina has the story of losing her dad, who her dad beat her mother, and they lived on Camp Crystal Lake. So whenever Tina was a girl, she used her powers to break down the thing that the dad was standing on the lake, and it crushed him, and he died in Camp Crystal Lake. And then Tina has been in a mental institution since then, dealing with the trauma of losing her dad. And maybe wondering if she should not have reacted that way and caused his demise. Because yeah, he was being a drunk jerk at like literally beating her mom. But that doesn't mean he would always be like that. But maybe that meant he might have been the same person after that, regardless. But I like that idea of her being troubled of this past of that happening. I think that's good, and I like that it's a different kind of iteration from a Carrie kind of clone instead. And I know there are other telekinetic characters in movies, but I feel like it felt most like Carrie in terms of just being an outcast character, being a character that people don't really like. But Tina in this movie is more like people like her more than Carrie. We just got the stupid characters like Melissa who are just horrible to anybody that's not popular. They're the same, but I really liked the Tina character. I thought that she really was good, and I thought Lar Park Lincoln was really good in this performance. I thought that when the emotional moments happened, they felt real, and I thought how she portrayed this character felt pretty real. I thought that her acting was really good in this movie, and she's definitely the best character and the best personality of the movie. Everybody else, they vary for me. Like, I think the Nick character's fine, but he kind of, to me, felt, like I said with the other characters, like in this movie specifically, like it started to feel like they're exactly the same character as the other ones, and he felt like the exact same. Like, he was just there. He lived, but he didn't have much purpose. I mean, he helped Tina out. He helped her fight Jason, but he didn't do much besides that. I mean, he just was a love interest, and that just, to me, and like I said, you can argue that for a lot of other characters that they're just like this, but to me, I feel like he just, I don't blame his performance, I just blame how his character was just kind of nothing. So I don't blame that guy's performance. I just blame, it just felt very, very bland in terms of the writing, in terms of this character. And all the other side characters felt like they were just from every other movie, and they were killed off quicker, I feel like, than any other movie. And I felt like there's one character, though, that I will give props to. That character, the woman who played Melissa, who to me was really, really a crazy, crazy bitch in this movie. Like, she was just, the way she acted and the way she treated all these people, like, she was just one of those popular girls who was just horrible to everybody, who had a rich father who said he gave her everything. And and I feel like that actress gave it her all. I thought she was really good in this, and I thought that she felt like, I don't apparently, like, in interviews I've heard that she was a really nice person on set. I think she died, like, not like a little while ago. I don't, but I heard that, like, whenever she was in this movie, like, she was really nice apparently, and she wasn't anything like her character. And I like that a person can portray that type of performance if you're not like that. I think that's really cool. And I thought that she was really, like, her character was such a bitch, and I just wanted her to die immediately. And she lives, like, almost the whole movie. She's literally the last person to go. And I think that's funny that that I get so angry over her character, just how annoying she was and how stupid and bratty she was. And then she stays till the end, and it's worth it whenever she gets axed in the face, because you're like, finally, you don't have to deal with her anymore and her annoying self. But like I said, all the other characters in this, I felt like the acting and the personalities of these characters was not like the first six, where it felt like, besides Tina and besides the Melissa character, it felt like everybody else was just phoning it in. Well, and not, I don't know about completely phoning it in, but like I said, I feel like the writing was just, even though the writing's not something that's typically good in these movies, I feel like it just really felt bad in this one. But regardless, I still love this movie. I still love the entertainment value of it. I still love the Tina character. I thought the Melissa character was one to be angry about, but it made me feel a lot of anger, and I like that. Like, even if a character's unlikable, I like how much I hated her. I thought that was great, and I thought that it was cool, especially the third act was really cool whenever it's just Tina, Nick, and Jason, and Tina is fighting Jason in different ways, which is really cool, where she will do things with her mind, like she will throw pins into Jason, or light him on fire, or drop the roof of a house on him, stuff like that. I think that's really cool, and I liked how that kind of ended the movie. I liked how that was a cool, different final act than the typical ones, in terms of Jason fighting a psychic character and having a person that has this ability that he has not encountered before. I think that's really cool. And I think that the ending is good, but it also has some dumb things about it. And I heard that it's just because of problems on set that it makes it even more dumb on the finished product, where Tina's dad, like, Tina brings back her dad who died in the lake to pull Jason back under, but he looks like he's literally just dirty. Like he jumps out of the water and he's got some dirt and black on his face, and he doesn't look anything like he's been underwater for 10 years or so. And I heard that there were issues on set where like this woman didn't want, like, I don't know if she's a producer or an executive. I don't know what her position was, but I wanted to see that dad character come out like decrepit and rotting. Like it would make sense that he's been in there 10 years. Why would he look normal, just have some dirt smudges on him? And it was apparently that person's issue why she didn't want to do that. And I don't know what her name was, and I don't know what position she was in the movie in the filming, but she apparently didn't want to have that happen. So to me, it makes the movie in the end look really stupid whenever he comes out of the water, not all rotted and real and making sense. It would make sense that he was rotted for 10 years being underwater, but then he just comes out, has some dirt on his face and some mud, and it's just like, that is so cheap and stupid. Like that to me made it kind of ruined it in a way. But they still have a lot of good moments in this. There's still a lot of good moments. Like I said, besides the characters, a lot of the characters being bland and having that dumb thing at the end, I thought that it was still fun with the Tina character. And I liked how it had two villains too. I liked how Dr. Cruz was a good like second villain. I thought that he was the one that Tina fought up before Jason until he died. Like then she started fighting Jason, but I liked how he was just this dick who wanted to exploit Tina's like abilities and try to emotionally stress her out so she could use these abilities. I thought that was cool. And I just think that guy was a real, like, he was good. I thought he had a good performance. I thought the mom had a good performance. So I'll add those. Those characters had good performances too. But all the teenager characters, to me, besides Tina and Melissa, were just boring and not anything worth caring about. And I think that, like I said, every other film before this I thought had fun personalities of these characters. And the teenager characters in this, besides a couple, are not very intriguing or interesting at all. But like I said, besides that, I mean, it has a fun third act, a great third act. Besides the one little thing at the end, and then I think that the main characters are fine. Overall, I do like it. I don't love it as much as the first six, but I think it is close. It's just got a couple little issues that make me not like it as much, but it's definitely not as bad as some of the few I will talk about after this. So that's all I'm gonna say. But I'll get back to you on part 8. But as of now, part 7 I think is my least favorite out of the first 7, but it's still a really good, entertaining Friday the 13th film, despite a few negatives.